groupings by race, even if they don't use the term race, can still be dangerous, i.e. if they group people using other. Sometimes some scientists might go, okay, well, race doesn't exist, but let's take the size of someone's head, okay? But that's still a lingering problem of what race science led people to believe about the differences between humans. So here's an example from a scientific study which said that race essentially was the reason that Black Americans' airways were becoming more inflamed, okay, than those of other white Americans. And the problem is that they put that down to the wrong factor. Okay, so it is true that Black Americans suffer more than asthma, but the scientists just assumed that was because, well, they're Black and they're white. But actually, it was then shown later that it's not that. It's just that the Black people, because they are poorer, they happen to live and have to live in places that are less healthy or less nice because they're near to roads, factories. And also they don't have as good healthcare, so they can't treat their asthma as well. So it's people can jump to wrong conclusions because they still believe that there's somehow differences between people with different color skin, for instance. Then if we look at medicine or health and racism, this became very problematic recently with COVID, obviously, when a lot of people were needing to have the blood oxygen measured. And it was in the news a lot that basically the blood oxygen monitors, because they were designed by white scientists and they were tested on white scientists and white students predominantly, no one really realized that they didn't work on someone who didn't have light colored skin, which is obviously really quite horrendous. And yeah, there were simply not enough Black people in these trials, or not enough Black scientists helping to develop blood oxygen monitors. And there's a podcast on this specific problem that I've put there. Then also you have racism in AI, okay? So here's an example of that. Scientists asked specially programmed robots to scan blocks, and the blocks had people's faces on them. And what the robots did is they associated words like homemaker or janitor. If you gave them those words, then they chose women and they chose people of color, because AI has learned from people and what people do, and it copies that. So any racism that might exist, including unconscious stuff, the machine will learn that.